Okay, I need to redo problem number 15 on the homework in section 7.4. It says that an amount of $2,000 was deposited in the bank at a rate of 8% compounded quarterly for 5 years. The rate was then increased to 9% and was compounded quarterly for the next 5 years. If no money was withdrawn, what was the balance at the end of this time? Okay, so now we're going to find out what the interest rate per period for the 8% compounded quarterly for 5 years. So 8%, if it's compounded quarterly, so we divide it by 4, which will give you 2%. And then we want the number of periods. So here, the number of periods, that means that it's compounded quarterly. There are 4 compoundings in a year for 5 years. That means that there are 20 periods total. So we use this formula, A is equal to P times 1 plus R raised to the nth power. P is your principal, R is the number of the interest rate per period, N is the number of periods. So in this case here, our P was $2,000. So here we're going to take $2,000 times 1 plus R. R is 2% per period, but 2% as a decimal will be 0.02, and it's raised to the 20th power. Now, if we simplify this, this will be 2,000 times 1.02 raised to the 20th power. So 2,000 times 1.02 raised to the 20th would give me $2,981.89. Okay, so for the first 5 years, the amount in that account at 8% compounded quarterly would be $2,981.89. Now then, the rate increased to 9%. So now the new interest per period, and this is where I made my mistake on that last video. I divided 9% by 5. I should have divided by 4. So now 9 divided by 4, that would give me 2.25%. My number of periods is still going to be 20 because it's compounded quarterly for the next 5 years. So the number of periods is still 4 times 5, which is 20. But this time, I'm still going to use this formula, but this time, I'm going to use the $2,981.89 because that's now the new principal that I had at the end of the first 5 years when it was compounded quarterly at 8%. Times 1 plus R, 2.25%, that's your interest rate. As a decimal, is going to be 0.0225. And that's raised to the 20th power. So now you get $2,981.89 times 1.0225 raised to the 20th power. And that's the answer that I was looking for, $4,637.66. So the balance after it's been compounded quarterly for 8% for the first 5 years, and then it was increased to 9% compounded quarterly for another 5 years, it will end up at $4,637.66. Okay, so this should be enough to assist you with one of the problems in that homework section for section 7.4.